Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. We begin in the name of Almighty Allah, the most magnificent, the ever merciful. We glorify Him, we praise Him, and of course we do elevate His name as He ought to be elevated. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Once again I extend to you the eternal and of course the universal salutation of peace. May the peace, blessings and mercies of Almighty Allah be upon you. Well, first up, special thanks going out to Vikash for his previous rendition, and of course to the entire 103.1 FM team for the amazing work as always. A pleasant good evening going out to one and all on this beautiful Wednesday evening. I'm your host and brother in humanity, Imam Ghani, here on this the 14th day of fasting here in Trinidad and Tobago during the course of the holy month of Ramadan for the year 2026 according to the Islamic calendar, for the year 1447. Well, the time for the breaking of the fast this evening once again is 6:19 p.m. The time to stop eating tomorrow morning is 5:04 a.m. So as we are now coming towards the end of the 14th day of fasting here in Trinidad and Tobago, of course, allow me now to take the opportunity to officially welcome you live on air, live across the internet, live across our social feeds as well for another segment of Iftaar with the Imam for the year 2026. As always, I must add, it's indeed an absolute honor and of course a personal pleasure to be in your company once again this evening. Thank you so much for the pleasure of your company. I pray that Almighty Allah continues to bless you throughout the course of this wonderful month of Ramadan, and may this Ramadan be a source of inspiration, motivation and of course upliftment for you and yours. Well, on the program this evening, we're going to be exploring a very, very powerful quote once we get into our short lecture segment, and that quote is, if you are irritated by every rub, how will you then be polished? That's our talking point coming up in just a short bit. Of course, I've got a few beautiful Islamic selections lined up coming your way as well, and I'll be taking you through to the live breaking of the fast coming up a bit later on this evening right here on 103.1 FM. I also want to take the opportunity as well to say a very special thank you going out to the sponsors. The program this evening is being brought to you through the kind courtesies of Presidential Insurance Company Limited, Chief Brand Products Limited, the Price Club Supermarket, Top Gear Auto Parts and Services, and City Furniture Limited. Well, with that being said, at this point in the program, I want to now urge you to join me in a short opening prayer. All praises are due to Almighty Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Magnificent, the Merciful, Master of the Day of Judgment. O Allah, it is you do we worship, and from you only do we ask for help. Guide us to the straight path, the path of those upon whom you have bestowed your favor, not the path of those who have evoked your anger, nor the path of those who have gone astray. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. Well, at this point in the program, we now get into our short lecture segment, and like I mentioned before, this evening we'll be talking about a very, very important quote. This evening we are going to explore a powerful quote by the 13th century Persian poet, the 13th century mystic, and of course the 13th century philosopher Jalaluddin Muhammad Rumi. So Rumi once said that if you are irritated by every rub, how will you then be polished? A very, very interesting, in-depth quote. So in just a few words, Rumi captures a universal truth about personal growth, about resilience, and about the role of discomfort in transformation. This quote is often shared, in quotes, in spiritual circles, in motivational talks, and even psychological lectures as well. And for good reason, because it reminds us that challenge and discomfort are not just inevitable, they are indeed a necessary part of life for refinement, for development, and of course for becoming the best version of yourself. So first of all, let's look at the literal and the metaphorical meaning of this particular quote. Let's begin by looking at the actual quote itself. If you are irritated by every rub, how will you then be polished? Now imagine a rough stone. Of course it has jagged edges, unrefined surfaces. In order to become smooth, in order to become a shiny gemstone, It must be rubbed, it must be sanded, it must be polished, it must be put through the furnace, so to speak. And this process involves friction, it involves heat, it involves force. It's not gentle at all. But in the end, it is absolutely transformative. Now replace the stone with yourself. Replace the polishing with life's challenges, with criticism, with setbacks, heartbreaks, failures, difficult people, and the list can go on and on. Each so-called rub is an opportunity to refine your character, to deepen your insight, and of course to polish your soul. If on the other hand you resist every rub, if you react with irritation, anger, or even avoidance, you miss the very process that eventually will lead to your positive evolution. The key elements of the metaphor are its words. If you are irritated by every rub, how will you then be polished? The word rub in this quote refers to life's challenges. The word irritation refers to your resistance. And the word polishing refers to your personal growth. Almighty Allah has created every person with a body and a soul. And the soul is on a journey of purification to return to its original source. And just like a mirror must be polished in order to be able to reflect an image clearly, so too your inner being must also be refined in order to reflect truth, in order to reflect love, divine wisdom, and spirituality. Ramadan, of course, is a time for self-reflection. It's a time for discipline. Fasting teaches us to exercise patience and also to exercise fortitude as well. The metaphorical rubs you experience during this month of Ramadan, hunger, thirst, emotional challenges, are all meant to define your character and to deepen your connection with Almighty Allah. So the big question is, what is the role of discomfort in relation to your growth? Now let's consider discomfort for a moment, not as something to be avoided, but as something essential. Fact number one, growth requires friction. And think about it, muscles, they grow through micro tears and then recovery. Skills, mastery of a particular art, a particular skill set comes through failure, correction, and repetition. Relationships, they deepen through conflict, through vulnerability, and of course through truth telling. In all these cases, discomfort is the medium for transformation. Fact number two, avoidance leads to stagnation. If you avoid every situation that challenges you, if you quit whenever you are criticized, if you quit whenever you are faced with a challenge, or withdraw whenever you are uncomfortable, you run the risk of being stuck in life. Simply because you remain unpolished, you remain untested, and you remain underdeveloped. Now there's a psychological concept called the comfort zone. It's the mental space where things feel safe and familiar. But growth does not happen in the comfort zone. It happens in the stretch zone, so to speak, where you feel a little fear, a little pain, a little discomfort, and a lot of uncertainty. So Rumi is literally asking the question, can you endure the rub long enough to be polished? And from a religious perspective, and many other spiritual traditions, the main obstacle to transformation from a spiritual perspective is the ego of an individual. Why? Simply because the ego tends to resist. The ego resists criticism. The ego resists humility. The ego resists accountability. The ego resists change. Why? Because the ego wants to preserve itself, not to improve itself. In the Quran, Almighty Allah speaks about precisely this. In chapter 12, verse 53, Almighty Allah mentions, "Indeed, the ego of man is inclined towards evil, except those upon which my Lord has mercy. Indeed, my Lord is forgiving and merciful." So every rub, every challenge threatens the ego's illusion of control and perfection. And then the ego responds with irritation. But the soul, on the other hand, the deeper self, welcomes the rub because it knows that polishing brings it closer to the truth, brings it closer to authenticity, and brings it closer to the divine spirituality. And Rumi said in another verse, in another quote, he said, "The wound is the place through which the light will enter you." And this is not just a poetic metaphor, it's the spiritual truth. In the field of growth and development, pain is not punishment, it's absolute purification. Each rub, each loss, each heartbreak is a chisel, removing what does not belong. So when Rumi says, "How long will you be polished?" or "How will you be polished?" he's not just talking about becoming better, he's talking about becoming the real you. Next, we look at some psychological insights. Let's briefly look at how modern psychology supports Rumi's insights. Psychologists have done a lot of research on the concept of resilience, and studies show that people who experience moderate levels of adversity in life develop greater resilience. They are able to develop empathy and a long-term well-being than those who experience absolutely no trials and tribulations. This is called post-traumatic growth. The idea that people can grow stronger, the idea that they can grow more compassionate because of hardship, not despite the hardship. So Rumi understood this centuries ago. And in the field of psychology, there is something called CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. So CBT teaches that your reactions to discomfort can be changed. Your responses can be changed. You can learn to tolerate. You can learn to refrain. You can learn to even embrace difficult emotions instead of avoiding them. Irritation is often a secondary emotion. It's a defense mechanism. But beneath it are vulnerability, fear, or even shame. And if you can bear with the rub a little bit longer, instead of lashing out, instead of responding, instead of reacting, you then would be able to gain valuable insight, and you will be able to gain strength to move on with your life. And then there is the power of mindfulness and acceptance. Modern mindfulness practices teach you to observe discomfort without judgment, to stay with the rub a little bit longer, and to explore what the situation is actually teaching you. And this literally echoes Rumi's teachings when he says, "Don't run from the rub, meet it with curiosity." So the big question is, how do you turn this wisdom into real life applications? How can you live this practically? Well, there are 5 practical ways to apply Rumi's wisdom. Number 1, welcome feedback. Instead of reacting defensively to criticism, ask, what is this showing me? What part of me is being polished? Number 2, learn to welcome discomfort. When something irritates you, whether it's a person, a task, a situation, pause, breathe, and ask, why is this triggering me? What is this rub revealing? Number 3, use conflict as a mirror. Relationships can be powerful polishing stones. Conflict doesn't mean something is wrong. It means that something is being revealed. Find it, acknowledge it, use it to grow, not to play the blame game. Number 4, reframe setbacks. Failures are not the end. Failures are the rub, so to speak, in life, the polishing. So ask yourself the question, what wisdom is hidden in this disappointment? And finally, number 5, practice patience, because polishing takes time. It's not an overnight process. So don't expect instant transformation. Stay with the process, stay the course, trust that each rub is going to do its work eventually. So finally, let's return to the quote one final time. If you are irritated by every rub, how will you be polished? It's a question. That's not a command. It invites reflection. And this Ramadan, you need to ask yourself, are you resisting the very things that are trying to shape you? This Ramadan, are you seeing discomfort as a curse or as a chisel? This Ramadan, are you willing to endure the rub to become the gem, or are you putting up a resistance? And as you go through the journey of life, you will face friction from time to time. Some of it, of course, will feel unfair. Some of it will hurt. But if you can meet each rub with openness, with humility, with courage, you will not merely survive, you will be polished into clarity. You will be polished to become more compassionate, and that in itself will help you to grow as an individual. So as you navigate through the month of Ramadan, be sure to embrace the challenges and the irritations you will face. Remember, each rub is a step towards being polished, towards being refined, and towards being spiritually elevated. Embrace patience and let this month be a transformative journey of self-improvement. May Almighty Allah grant us the strength to endure, the wisdom to reflect, and may Almighty Allah make it easy upon us that we can continue to use this special month of Ramadan for our benefit as opposed to our detriment.
بالحب تلقاك البدور ضيف الأماني والسرور فيك العطايا والأجور يا مرحبا يا مرحبا زين الشهور. Jour après jour, un monde d'amour, tes Célia, bienvenue, meilleur de moi, bienvenue, bonheur et joie, notre mois saint, bonheur et bien. We welcome you, month we all adore. We pray for happiness and more. To all the people, open up your door. Peace, love and joy. Let them soar, let them soar. Ramadan, Ramadan, welcome holy month Ramadan, Ahlan Ramadan.
Well, the time now in Trinidad and Tobago is 6:19 p.m. It's now time for the live breaking of the fast right here on 103.1 FM. And of course, the breaking of the fast this evening is being brought to you through the kind courtesies of Presidential Insurance Company Limited, Chief Brand Products Limited, the Price Club Supermarket, Top Gear Auto Parts and Services, and City Furniture Limited. And once again, now that we have come to the end of another day of fasting throughout the course of the holy month of Ramadan, we break our fast with the very special prayer, and that prayer is ذهب الظمأ وبطلت العروق وثبت الأجر إن شاء الله تعالى اللهم لك صمت وعلى رزقك أفطرت. The thirst is now gone, the veins are now moistened, and the reward will be guaranteed by the Almighty if Almighty Allah wills. O Allah, for you I have fasted this day, and O Allah, I break the fast with the sustenance that you have provided for me. And of course, we pray most earnestly that Almighty Allah accepts our efforts this day. May Almighty Allah continue to grant us our just reward in this life as well as in the life of the hereafter. And may Almighty Allah grant us the health and the strength and the ability and the security that we're able to continue on with the beautiful month of Ramadan for the year 2026.
Allah. الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
Dua after adhan. اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آت محمدا الوسيلة والفضيلة وبعثه مقاما محمودا الذي وعدته. O Allah, Lord of this perfect call and this prayer to be established, grant Muhammad al-Wasila a high and special place in Jannah and al-Fadila a rank above the rest of creation, and raise him to a praise platform which you have promised him.
Presidential Insurance Company specializes in all classes of motor insurance. Presidential are also experts in fire and marine insurance and workmen's compensation. For total insurance coverage, think Presidential. Call or visit Presidential's main office at 54 Richmond Street, Port of Spain. Telephone 625-4788 or 625-4769. You may also visit any of their branches at Chaguanas, Couva, Curep, Point Fortin, Princestown, Pinal, Sangre Grande or San Fernando. Think insurance. Think big. Think Presidential now.
At the Price Club, they're always committed to excellence. They provide well-stocked lanes with grocery, gift and religious items, a vegetable and meat section, car care and household department, and a home and garden section. Their wide, spacious aisles provide you with an extremely convenient and comfortable shopping experience. And their friendly staff is always willing to assist you. Ample and secured on-site parking is available. The Price Club Supermarket, the low price leader, Ramsaran Street, Chaguanas.
For the best results, even professional bakers depend on the right baking powder, and so should you. Use Chief baking powder and add fluffy perfection to your bread, pastries and cakes. Make your roti, bara and pilari soft and light, and homemade bake that's nice and tender. And don't forget, Chief baking powder comes from a tradition of quality that the Chief brand is famous for.
Chief Baking Powder, the rise to perfection.
Yes, indeed, you have been listening to Iftar with the Imam right here on 103.1 FM with yours truly, Imam Safrazgani. And at this point in the program, we are now getting ready to drop curtains of this particular episode of Iftar with the Imam. But before we go, I just wanted to leave you with a parting piece of advice. Never ever underestimate the impact you have on other people's lives. Once you develop positivity in your life, that will then trickle down and have a ripple effect in the life of other individuals as well. The advice you give has made a difference for people. The support and the love you have offered others has definitely made someone's day. And your input and your opinions have made someone think twice. You are not insignificant. You are not forgotten. Your existence, once it is positive, it definitely will make a positive difference in the world, whether you see it or not, whether you understand it or not. So may Almighty Allah bless you this day, and may He continue to bless us all in the remaining days of the month of Ramadan. As we're now coming to the end of the program for this evening, I want to take the opportunity as well to say a very special thank you going out to the sponsors. The program this evening has been brought to you through the kind courtesies of Presidential Insurance Company Limited, Chief Brand Products Limited, The Price Club Supermarket, Top Gear Auto Parts and Services, and City Furniture Limited. Special salams and greetings of peace going out to all those who have joined us on the program this evening. Thank you so much for your kind messages. Thank you so much for the pleasure of your company. May the blessings and the mercies of Almighty Allah be with you. Well, it was indeed an absolute pleasure to be in your company over the past half an hour or so. By all means, you can catch me tomorrow evening from 6 p.m. for another segment of Iftaar with the Imam, and of course tomorrow morning as early as 3 a.m. as we continue on with special Ramadan programming right here on 103.1 FM. Until we meet again, please have an extremely blessed evening. Stay safe, stay in the mercy of the Almighty. Much love, and may the peace, blessings and mercies of Almighty Allah be with you. Coming your way next is news at 6:30, followed by the Night Switch with Kavita Maharaj. Do keep it locked on to 103.1 FM for more inspirational and motivational programming throughout the course of this wonderful month of Ramadan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.